Watching the ACC on ESPN. Beginning of the second quarter, dominated by Ohio State. Total yards 205 to 56. 80 yards and a Zeke Elliott touchdown run. Jones to Curtis Samuel. Touchdown pass on the first possession of the game. And now Michael Brewer and the Hokies, after converting on third down, desperately need to create something. Get the crowd back in it. Give the defense a rest. Brewer pump fakes and now lobs it downfield. Has Isaiah Ford wide open. A flag comes in as the receiver tight ropes to the 32. The flag was in the backfield. Holding against the Hokies will wipe it away.
Holding, number 57, offense, 10 yards, still first down.
We got the sophomore guard Wyatt Teller negated a 31-yard pass.
That was the first time where they tried to attack. And we just keep talking about attacking man-to-man. You've got to hit some plays. That was a slant and go one-on-one against Eli Apple. And it's a matchup that Virginia Tech with Brewer and Ford they feel comfortable with, but the holding call negates it.
And Scott Leffler says you're going to get about 4 shots downfield against an Ohio State defense this good. There's a change at quarterback now. Brendan Motley, the junior from Christiansburg, Virginia, is in there. It's a low snap. He's going to pick his way and actually finds a little crease and barrels forward. It'll be 3rd and 3.
At 6'3", 221 pounds. See Motley with some natural instincts to run with that football. And I just talked about when you take the threat away from a dual threat quarterback, puts a lot of pressure on your passing game against this kind of defense. And you've got to be able to throw the ball to be able to open up the running game. Well, Motley can give you a little bit of something in that backfield to make the defense have to be aware of his ability to run.
It's tough to come in on 1st and 20 in your first possession, though. He hands off to McMillan, who cuts back. Trayvon McMillan diving near midfield. He almost broke it. And again, his first college football action almost made a huge play.
A couple great blocks. Ryan Malik, the tight end, 88 to your left, and watch 45, Sam Rogers. He gets 2 of them right there. And then downfield, that is tremendous effort there. We've heard all about Sam Rogers having a great camp, the leader of this team. He really opened that up for McMillan to be able to pick up those extra yards for the first down.
And Joshua Perry, the linebacker, grabbed an ankle to perhaps prevent a touchdown. A much-needed conversion, and Brewer is back in at quarterback. It's a wheel route, and wide open is Sam Rogers. The fullback makes a cut and scores. And now Lane Stadium is alive again, 51 yards. That ex-walk-on Kirk, he told us, earned a scholarship in a week. He's not just a gutsy leader, he's a football player.
He sure is. He makes plays for this team.
Slides the extra point in. A much-needed 74-yard, 6-play touchdown drive as the Hokies cut the lead in half. Sam Rogers didn't catch him. But 1 touchdown pass last year, that was against the Buckeyes. Both career touchdowns against Ohio State. Awakened by that touchdown drive, and as they kick off, there are 3 Edmonds brothers. Number 14 is Trey, number 22 is Terrell, 49 is Tremaine, he's the true freshman, sons of Farrell Edwards Jr., the Pro Bowl tight end. This may have never happened before, Kurt.
I've never seen that. Seen 2 brothers, but how about that 3?
They don't get a chance to make a tackle because Sly boots it deep, but we'll see them on all the kickoffs tonight.
Let's go back to that touchdown. A great call here by Scott Leffler. rolling the quarterback to the right. Here's your fullback who's going to eventually slide out. But watch the action going this way, how it draws the attention of the linebackers and the safety. Action goes away. Freeze it right here, and you see the receiver going this way, takes Eli Apple, so there's nobody down in this area. And here comes the fullback. He just leaks out. Nobody picks him up. The big fella, Tommy Shutt, tries to pick him up, but to no avail, and then not giving up on the play. That's a corner, Eli Apple, trying to make that play in space, and great effort, and again, to get into the end zone by Sam Rogers.
And the touchdown brings back the crowd noise, trying to make life tough on the Buckeyes. Jones handed it off to Elliott, then tried to make a block. Tailback didn't need much help. Got about 11.
We talked about Rogers. He's covering kickoffs. He's blocking people.
With a shimmy.
How about a little shoulder shake there by the big fella?
Eli Apple's had some highlights in his career. That will not be any fun in the film room.
No, it will not.
And Braxton Miller in the ball game, in the shotgun. High snap, Miller, hesitation. Makes a cut, but just runs into heavy traffic. So 2 carries, short gains for Miller.
That defensive line playing that bare front, doing a better job of getting off blocks on that play. We've not seen a lot of that. Ohio State has dominated up front in the trenches. Such a different story from a year ago, when 4 of the offensive linemen were new faces with an inexperienced quarterback. Now, tonight, they've been playing well, but Virginia Tech showing some life on that play.
Daddy Nicholas ripped off Miller's helmet, so he's got to come out of the game. 2nd and 8, another high snap, and again, traffic. Jones looking for room. Flag comes out as the big fella picks his way near the first down marker, but again, it's in that holding zone.
Holding, number 15 offense, 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
That's Zeke Elliott trying to deal with the pressure, guilty of the hold.
You just talked about Daddy Nichols, Chris. Gives you an idea. He had a great game last year against Ohio State. He's right here, and this is what they want to do. They want to shoot gaps. That's a blown assignment. Zeke tries to tackle him, which he does. That's why there's a holding call.
Nicholas is an interesting story. Born in Haiti. He's working on his 2nd degree at Virginia Tech, and they say, okay, he may not be Corey Moore in terms of ability, but they think he's the closest to it that they've
Most
had since
explosive player since Corey Moore. It says it all right there in the late 90s.
Emily makes it 2nd and 18. Jones again gets away that time from Nichols. He is tough to tackle, and he shows some speed too. Chased out on the far side. You got to tackle differently against the big guy.
And Daddy Nichols is a defensive lineman. He's 6'3", 227 pounds. And Cardale Jones is much bigger at 250 pounds. There's the athletic ability. He's 3rd straight play. He gets in there. He goes right by Pat Elfine. But Bud Foster, the defensive coordinator from Virginia Tech, challenged his team the entire week, the entire camp. With Cardale Jones, you better go low or you're not going to be able to bring him down like a Ben Roethlisberger type of quarterback.
And Chuck Clark, the safety there, top tackle, he really couldn't run down Jones from behind there. 3rd and 4. Jones deflected, diving attempt, intercepted. The pick is made by Desmond Fry on the deflection. Deion Clark got a hand at it. Bruce Smith, the great Hokie, loves it.
Well, Deion Clark, number 40, gets his hand on the football. And a tremendous effort to go into the air that time by Fry to come up with the interception. We'll take a peek to make sure he got his hands. It looks like he gets his hands and elbows underneath. Doesn't look like the ball.
That shot, though.
Here's a great look at it. There's Clark with his hands up. Ball is free at that point. No interference calls, and it's about whether or not he got his arms underneath the football. And from every look that we have so far, it looks like a clean interception.
Again, it has to be conclusive video evidence to overturn that call on the field. Does the ball hit the ground? His hands are underneath it. Again, it's an ACC replay crew. We'll bring in Doug Rhodes. This is tricky. I haven't seen a replay yet, Doug, that looks conclusive enough.
Well, in this case here, it's important to realize the ball, it's possible for the ball to touch the ground, and that's okay as long as it's under full control when it touches the ground. But the ground cannot become the third hand that allows him to catch it. Right. So in this case here, indisputable beyond any doubt to turn it over? No, it's got to go with interception.
Yeah. Like Fry's hands were underneath the ball, then it popped up.
But you can't tell if it popped up from his forearms popping it up or the ground.
Right.
If you can't tell if it's at the ground or his hands, you're going to go with the call on the field.
Exactly. And one of the basic tenets of replay is you presume it's correct on the field, and before you do anything else, indisputable beyond all doubt. Right. So that's kind of the tenets of replay.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
So Deion Clark, the top returning tackler, the disruptive linebacker, he makes the big play to pop it up in the air, and an athletic diving pick by Fry.
We talked about when they were down 14, they needed a spark. The missed field goal by Ohio State. The next possession, they go down and they get a touchdown by the big guy, Rodgers. Now their defense goes back out on the field. They create a turnover off of the tip. They get the ball back to the offense, and Brewer's on the sideline. And Motley, who gave him a little bit of something with his skill, his ability to run the football, is back out there.
Yeah, he began the drive at quarterback, and then Brewer came in and threw the touchdown pass. Motley again takes off. Could not make Conley miss on the edge. Short game.
See, when Brewer comes in, the tendency is they're going to hand it off or they're going to throw it. And so far, what we've seen so far from Motley is it's some kind of quarterback run game. And until he throws the ball, the defense will zero in on when number 9 comes into the game on quarterback run. He's going to have to throw the football to be able to make the Ohio State defense respect that aspect of this offense when he's in the game.
They hand it to the man in motion. That's Greg Stroman, and all over it is Darren Lee.
So your options are very limited, again, so far from what we've seen. And so you're either thinking the quarterback's going to run it, or you're going to have a jet sweep. It's a totally different offense. The contain there and the overall team speed from Ohio State, just too much there for that play.
What's it like now for Michael Brewer, who comes in first action in this series, and he faces a 3rd and 15?
Not very good. It's not very good at all.
You don't love what they're doing.
You got to find a matchup, and this is where Bucky Hodges could come into play right here. Also, the other tight end right here, Malik.
They're giving Hodges a cushion, but again, they need 15 yards. Brewer flushed, throws, diving play made. He was very near the line of scrimmage. They're calling it a catch at the 35-yard line. Wow. Malik is the big tight end. Terrific catch.
Well, he got his hand underneath. The ball went up in the air, but it was after his hand clearly was underneath it. Ohio State blitzes, but that time Darren Lee got caught with his eyes in the backfield, and he didn't look around to see the receivers, in this case Ryan Malik, in his area. He lost him, and Brewer found him after stepping up into the pocket, an area that he's really worked on this summer to improve in.
On first down, this is J.C. Coleman. So on 3rd and 14, Brewer comes in cold, and the tight end makes the quarterback look good with a terrific grab.
It was a bust in coverage from Ohio State, but it was, remember we talked yesterday with Scott Leffler, he said, you know, one thing with Michael Brewer was he came out of that Texas Tech offense where everything was quick, get the ball out of your hands. He's had to learn how to climb into the pocket. Climbing into the pocket in more of a pro-style offense, especially on 3rd down, is your friend. And that time he did climb up into the pocket, and that's what bought him the time to be able to eventually find Malik.
We knew the tight ends would be key. So far, the Buckeyes have held Bucky Hodges without a catch. This is Coleman again. Tough little customer. A short gain there. Joshua Perry stopped him. Now it'll be 3rd and long again.
Just by the addition of Brendan Motley has given this offense just enough of a kind of a ability to break some tendencies and a different look to make this Ohio State defense have to communicate and have to look left and right and make sure everybody's on the same page. So when you go back to 12, Brewer, and then back to Motley, it's been 2 series, but we've seen some success here for the Virginia Tech offense with Motley coming in as a changeup.
And Hokies make a play on 3rd and 8. Buckeyes showing pressure. They bring it. Brewer gets it out quickly, delivers far side. Cam Phillips, though, is going to be wrestled down immediately by Conley, short of a first down. And you're about 4 on 4th down now.
I don't know what Cam Phillips is thinking there. He goes upfield. He should have worked it a little bit higher, but after he makes the catch, he goes back. Conley's there, and then you've got 4 or 5 other white jerseys. So instead of being about a yard short, because of what he decided to do with the ball after he caught it, now they're about 4 or 5 yards short.
So Joey Sly missed from 50, but had the distance before. Tries this one from 46. Makes the correction and bangs it through. So the Hokies, who were reeling on the ropes, have scored 10 points and cut the Buckeyes lead to 4 midway second quarter. Virginia fan, you saw the combo jersey he was wearing as he rocked Blacksburg a free concert last night. He did play some rock and roll. He played like Satisfaction with the Stones. He played Enter Sandman for the crowd here.
He knows his crowd.
He told me he was practicing it more than playing it.
I'm sure he did
kick off again, and again, no action for the Edmonds brothers. Another touchback. Brad Paisley, friend of College Game Day. He was your guest pitcher there in Fort Worth, and Game Day is headed to East Lansing next Saturday. Great start for Reese Davis, you guys, and it'll be a lot to talk about. A pretty good schedule for week 2, and the headline game, of course, is Oregon and Michigan State in primetime on ABC.
It'd be great to be in East Lansing. There was such a great matchup last year between Oregon and Michigan State. There he is.
There, buddy. Of course, they did the pregame show. They'll be along at halftime as well. And the complexion of this first half has certainly changed. It's Miller in the backfield to the right of Jones, and now an option look. And again, they do a pretty good job of taking away the pitch and letting the big guy carry it, Kirk.
Well, they're making him indecisive on the option. What you'd love to see a quarterback run the option, you'd love to see him just attack downhill and make the defensive end commit one way or the other. And here he starts to kind of attack, and then he starts to, I might pitch, and then the guy goes out to the pitch, and because he's bigger, he doesn't quite have that same quickness to be able to accelerate upfield. So even though he gained a couple yards, that would be a win for Virginia Tech's defense, and a good play by Deion Clark.
Now it's Miller in the right slot, and they motion Elliott into the other slot. Pressure. Jones takes a shot downfield over the head of Miller, and we wondered, is this going to be the Devin Smith deep threat of this year?
Well, somebody's got to have to step up and become Devin Smith from a year ago. He was not just fast. You and I were talking about it this afternoon. His ball skills and ability to adjust to the football were legendary for the last couple years. So they feel Braxton Miller with his speed could become that guy. But again, you still see Bud Foster playing this same defense. Live by the sword, die by the sword, leaving those defensive backs one-on-one out there in some cases without any safety behind them.
Need 8 on 3rd down. Jones takes off. No hesitation. Cardell Jones rumbles for a first down and much more to the 45. So design run all the way.
Now they felt pretty good about the quarterback run game coming in. And look how this play opens up on the left side. Nice pull by Pat Elfine. A block there by Zeke Elliott. The receivers downfield. And next thing you know, number 12 is lumbering down for the big gain and a first down.
You love how Elliott, besides being a star with the ball in his hands, is it embraces blocking.
Remember how Tom Herman last year said his greatest gift as a player was how physical he is without the football. That's about as good a compliment as you can give a star running back.
Only has 2 carries so far, one of them for 80 yards, and now a 3rd, and Elliott danced for positive yardage. Heather?
You guys were talking Bud Foster, some adjustments I overheard. He was saying that the D-line must adjust against the speed option, widen out the space between the guard and tackle split. Then he said the Bear defense must be able to adjust right or left, especially against the tight end, and that safety needs to know where the help is coming from at all times. A couple things to keep our eye on, guys.
Break it down there. Come on now, Red. Good job.
Good Heather grab a grease board down there.
Love that. Safety support coming in, leverage the football. You got to make plays.
It's a good chess match, though. Terrific point. And 2nd down, they need 5. Jones, pressured, hit. Big fella gets it away anyway. Tried to get it to Samuel in traffic. And Canham, their leading sacker a year ago, was there. He just kind of bounced off Cardell.
Canham, though, watch how he works to the top of the screen. Just goes around with quickness. Billy Price. That's one way to take away the effectiveness of Cardell Jones or any quarterback. Because if you can get pressure, he hit that fifth step, he's ready to throw, and he's got a defensive lineman right in his face. Another third down. Ohio State 3 of 6 so far tonight.
Empty backfield. Samuel in motion in the flat, and the ball was knocked away. Once again, Dion Clark, who created the carom which led to the pick, knocked that pass down. Fourth down.
This has been a bread and butter play for Urban Meyer in this first half, where they get the running back out into the flat, and you can see the defender running with him at the top. There's a long way for Stroman to get there, and if Clark doesn't get up and knock that down, that's another first down on the exact same play to the running back out of the backfield. They're just throwing it to him out in the flat.
The prime minister of defense, is that how Bud Foster was introduced to us? So loyal, came across Beamer as a player at Murray State. He's been with him basically from the start here at Virginia Tech. Kendall Fuller makes the fair catch, and the Hokies defense rising up. They get the football back, down only 4. Very slow start for the Hokies, and the crowd was out of it, and Ohio State was looking very tough to stop on offense. But now Tech actually gets the ball back with poor field position with a chance to take the lead. That looked unlikely about 20 minutes ago.
They get off to a slow start, but these last couple series, they've found some things that have been working and changed some things up with, as I said earlier, Brandon Motley coming in.
Coleman darts forward. That's one of the better runs they've had tonight up the middle.
It's amazing when an offense that's been struggling the way they did in those first few series, you bring in a different wrinkle, and it makes the defense think about some other things. Then you can go back to your old bread and butter, which you hoped to run originally.
Brewer, the quarterback, tried to throw a block, and Coleman had to kind of walk around him.
Now, their first 3 series, it was 14 plays and just 45 yards. And they were going out in a hurry. And then the last 2 series, coming into this one, they had 12 plays, 111 yards, and 10 points. And Ohio State had missed a field goal. They turned that into a touchdown. Then they had an interception. They turned that into a field goal.
Both teams tonight are 3 for 7 on third down. Hokies need just 1. They've had third and long a bunch tonight. Trey Edmonds behind Rogers, the fullback, in the I formation. Brewer keeps it, and they'll move the chains.
We've talked a lot about Michael Brewer being from the state of Texas, went to high school at Lake Travis down in Austin. He's kind of a guy who loves football, kind of your typical Texas high school quarterback, tough football family. Dad played quarterback at Texas. His grandfather played football at Texas. And when you have that background, you're kind of born with the game and the love for the game, and he kind of has that blue-collar approach to how he plays this game. It was evident last year where he took so many sacks and took so many hits and never really complained about it.
Brewer's dad and granddad played football at Texas, but as you said, Kirk, he was denied permission to go to the Longhorns. Ended up
like a gray, hey, have a gray shirt.
J.T. Barrett warming up on the sidelines. First down for the Hokies, 3:13 before halftime. Rogers caught the touchdown pass earlier, has really been an impact player in this first half. Nice first down game.
I think with the adjustments from Virginia Tech, I think we're starting to see an offensive line play a lot better than they did the first couple series, where they just looked overwhelmed with Ohio State's athletic ability and strength. For these last 2 or 3 series, they have opened up some room and some running lanes for these backs in their zone read game.
No line with just 1 senior. And the center making his first start tonight, Eric Gallo. Brewer on second down, throws into traffic. Ford was there, couldn't come up with it.
I don't know if
Von Bell in coverage.
I don't know if Von Bell got a hand on that or not, but it looked like Ford would be able to secure that for a catch and a first down. Ball's in his hands.
It
just popped out.
Yeah, it was very catchable. Hokies receivers have been very sure-handed tonight, though. Some excellent grabs. Yet another third down. We need 6. It's Ford in motion. Buckeyes rush 4. In the flat, Cam Phillips going backwards again and knocked down well short of the marker. They tried to get it to Phillips a couple times on third down, but he hasn't been able to get near the sticks. Conley on the tackle.
That time, Ohio State just rushing 4, as you said, Chris. They were showing blitz, but ended up rushing 4 and dropping 7. Darren Lee got pressure. It put him down, not always to blitz, but just as a rusher, especially with Joey Bosa out. And he got the pressure and forced Brewer to get the ball out of his hands.
So the Buckeyes will get the football back inside of 2 minutes to halftime. They've got a couple timeouts to work with. See if Elliott can set him up in good field position. The lefty Hughes boots it away. Low kick, fumbled by Elliott. Still loose on the sidelines. Hokies have it. So Elliott filling in for Jalen Marshall, suspended as punt returner, makes a mistake, and Tech is set up to perhaps take the lead. Wow. Second turnover for Ohio State.
And when you try to knock off the #1 ranked team, you're going to get a few opportunities, and you got to be able to win the turnover margin. Zeke Elliott, the one thing, you know he can run, but it's being able to secure from a punt from a left-footed punter. It's tougher. The second time he's been a little bit unsure, and that one he ended up coughing up, and the ball goes back to the Hokies here before the first half with 1:30 to go.
So a couple of mistakes after Ohio State had jumped out to a 14-0 lead.
Like Anthony Shagog ended up getting on top of that. Outside linebacker on special teams.
Brewer pressured, loops it downfield. Ford, jump ball, wrestled at the 2. And Brewer got hammered after the throw. Very slow to get up, but he's trotting down there now. Washington and Lewis converge on the tough quarterback.
Remember how tough this guy is. He got beat up on Ohio State and a lot of other teams. 2 defenders get to him. Von Bell got lost in coverage, in man-to-man coverage against Isaiah Ford. His eyes maybe looking into the backfield. Ford got behind him, and Bell fortunate the ball didn't end up going into the end zone for a touchdown.
Ford's a guy who added 15 pounds, got a lot stronger this year.
He looks a lot different than he did last year as a freshman.
First and goal. And it's Edmonds in the I formation. He's got it. Trey Edmonds muscles near the goal line, stopped half-yard short.
And now if you're Virginia Tech, you start thinking about just taking your time here. You want to work that clock. As bad as Ohio State's looked these last few series, remember, they still are a quick striking offense. Take your time in the huddle. You work the clock down. You're at the half-yard line.
You still got the 2 timeouts.
Exactly what they're doing.
Same formation. Edmonds again. Same result. Stopped short. It'll be third down, and now Beamer will have to spend the first of his timeouts. 1 left now, 21 seconds. Raekwon McMillan hammered him.
That is a heck of an effort when the football is on the half-yard line. Raekwon McMillan cleans it up, but it's the defensive line on the right side for Ohio State getting low. They end up pulling the guard. It looks like he's going to have a walk into the end zone. Tommy Shutt just throws his left shoulder, left arm up into the air. I think he slowed him down a bit, but it was the linebackers that eventually cleaned it up and kept him short. But the defensive line, anytime you have a great goal line play by a defense, the defensive line gets low and they end up pushing that offensive line back, and it frees up the linebackers to be clean and make a play.
They lost a half yard, so the ball at the 1 on 3rd down. How big is this play? Ohio State can make a stand after the Hokies had 1st and goal at the 2. Force a field goal attempt. They'll still have the lead. For Tech, a chance to come from 14 down in a hurry and lead at the break.
These are the drills you do throughout the entire month of August, and you get ready for the season, and now you're out here in a game and you're doing a goal line where it really, really counts, especially at this point in the football game.
It's Edmonds offset now. Brewer look to throw, lobs it back to a wide open tight end Ryan Malik. And a Hokie team that looked overmatched in the first quarter has stormed back to take the lead.
What a call there by Scott Loeffler.
Sly gives the Hokies a 3-point lead. They cash in the fumble by Elliott and move 38 yards in 4 plays.
And that's the right time to call this by Scott Loeffler. There he is, the offensive coordinator. A great call on 3rd down. Sam Rogers has been getting a lot of attention, number 45. He's right here. And you think if they're going to go to play action, they're going to roll out here, this is the way they're going to go. But in fact, it's a delay by Malik. He ends up sliding right here, and nobody even sees him. See that Rogers going out in the flat. You got a back out there. The defense is going out there. You freeze it right here. You can see nobody is back here. The defense is over here. Malik's waiting, an easy throw, and it's the right call by Loeffler to do that on 3rd down.
And Scott Loeffler, very fired up when he plays Ohio State. He's an Ohio native. I believe he was at that school up north, as they call it,
yeah, grew up
Michigan, and was an assistant, obviously, for Urban Meyer as well at Florida. And this is what set it up, the fumble punt by Elliott, being asked to do something he hasn't done before.
Yeah, miscues by Ohio State. Missed a field goal, dropped a punt, had some penalties, and as good as their first quarter looked while they were up 14-0 on the road, Virginia Tech has scored 17 in the 2nd quarter, and Ohio State has not been able to get anything going offensively.
And if you're Jalen Marshall, watching back home, who's suspended, you're not feeling great about that. That should have been him back there receiving the punt. Elliott has done it in high school, but this is real different.
Yeah, Jalen, again, Joey Bosa's, he's the focus because he's an All-American. He's such a great player. But yeah, Jalen Marshall and Dontre Wilson both obviously missed.
Their kickoff just drilled through the end zone.
And by the way, we talked about how would the receivers do without those players. We knew about Michael Thomas. The receivers as a group have 3 receptions in this first half. They've been trying to get the ball thrown a lot to Elliott, but Curtis Samuel has 1, Braxton Miller has 1, Michael Thomas with 1.
And Paris Campbell has a couple of drops. One was his fault. The other one, an unreviewable play because it was ruled incomplete in the field. Perhaps was a catch, but 15 seconds to go. Big arm that they take a shot downfield against a high-risk defense. There is a very deep safety in this play. And instead, it's Elliott, who's dangerous anytime he touches it, zigging and zagging for about 9.
Remember, Ohio State deferred in the first half. Virginia Tech had the ball to start the game, so Ohio State gets the ball to start the second half.
Well, Urban Meyer's team looked dominant, coming in here ranked #1, defending national champions, and roll to a 14-0 lead, but 10 points for Tech off of 2 Ohio State turnovers. And the Hokies at home up 17-14. To Heather Cox with Urban.
Chris, thank you, Coach. Quick 14-0 start. Now you go into the locker room down. What's the biggest puzzle you have to solve?
In big games, playing a good defense and their opportunist offense. 2 turnovers, 2 turnovers, you drop that punt. So we'll regroup, come back out and play hard second half.
You went with Cardell Jones to start the game. How would you assess his first half execution?
Started off good. We we're having a, you think about the misfires we had on those holding penalties. So I think Cardell's doing okay, but we might get the other one ready too.
Thanks, Coach. We'll let you get to it.
The other one is JT Barrett. Jones 6 of 13 with a touchdown and an interception. He's also carried it 8 times. So Brewer and the Hokies trying to beat a #1 team for the first time in program history. Up 17-14 at the break.